Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. So let me take a minute, just sit right there. I'm going to tell you about how I had my spiritual awakening. Integration, appreciation, bow, 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 bow. Why is integration and appreciation, why are they so important? I didn't even know about the word integration until I started learning about shamanism. I made friends with an amazing shaman. I did a 3-month program with him, and he started teaching me these different ways that tribes and medicine people from tribes all around the world help people go through healing journeys and help people step into adulthood and help people become solid human beings. We just don't have anything like that in our culture in England. And the integration piece is missing in so many modalities that I've practiced. I've done hypnotherapy, NLP, Reiki multiple times, theta healing, timeline therapy, past life regressions, all different things I've learned and I've studied. Almost none of them talk about integration. What does integration mean? Well, if you go and you have a ceremony with a shaman, big things happen, your energy shifts, these upgrades come, maybe you get awarenesses of different ways that you can change things in your life. But then what do you do with that? And it's like you step out into the world, into your job, your family, like they've all stayed similar, right? They haven't been to a ceremony, they haven't had that big awakening, that big awareness. How do you take those lessons and the things you've learned and actually apply them in your life? That's what's missing, I think, in a lot of the coaching I've received, in a lot of the therapies I've received. I've had hundreds of one-on-one sessions. Almost no one's talking about it. So when we made our quantum regression and integration therapy, Q-RIT, the integration is a huge piece, because it's no good having these big awarenesses and not being able to apply them in your life. And if we lived in tribes, if we lived in these places where everybody was doing the work, where you have a shared language, it's different. If you can go to people and explain to them what's happened and they can help you, oh yeah, I had something like that too. It helps you just even talking it out, talking through it. But there's also like physical actions to take, right? So if you have an ache or a pain, if you have some kind of negative thought patterns, if things in your life aren't really how you want them to be right now, it's for a reason. There's some reason. Now, you could go and do a ceremony with a shaman, you could do a quantum regression process, you could go to a therapist or whoever, and they might be able to help you find the root cause. That's what you always want to find. Where's the root cause of this thing? Once you find that root, for example, let's say you have a fear of public speaking. That's one of my things I help people with. In 2 hours, we can completely cure any fear you have of public speaking. Gone, boom, done. Really simple. Because that fear came from somewhere. So we just go back to where the fear came from. Let's say you were a kid, and so many people say this, it's crazy. Someone told you kids should be seen and not heard. Or they say, be quiet, the grown-ups are talking. Or they tell you you're inconvenient, or you're too loud, or they say shut up, or something like that. Or another one, a lot of people, when they're in school, you're made to do a presentation about something you don't really care about, and then you make a mistake and then the kids laugh at you, and then that anchors in this thing, and you're so scared then that people will laugh at you. So we can go and we can get that awareness. But now what do we do with that awareness? How do we actually integrate that into your life experience? So whenever I work with someone who has a fear of public speaking, for example, this is just an example, we have to then create an action plan for them to actually go and speak in public. That's the integration part. So it's great. Okay, wow, yeah, cool. I've got this thing. I've cleared it. Yeah, I don't actually agree with that. No, children should be allowed to express themselves. Of course, I was doing a presentation about Shakespeare, which I don't really care about. So yeah, of course, I didn't really put my heart and soul into it. It's different when you're talking about something you actually really care about, right? And something you actually believe. So you get the process, you rewire it, bring them back to the now, But now you have to go and speak. So I get people to make Facebook Lives just like this, but doing it just like this is a bit scary. So I have a 4-week course which teaches people how to make videos. We have a private training group, and you make the videos inside the private training group. Now, only the other people who are on the course see it. It's called my 28-day standout online video coaching program. So you're in a real safe space to practice your speaking. I teach you how to do it in a really easeful way. And then you slowly come out the comfort zone. I have a friend who went to the jungle and did ayahuasca. It took him like a month to just be able to function in normal society again. And I've done all different kinds of ceremonies with all different kinds of plant medicines, and I've had great benefit. Some of them have been held impeccably well. Most of them, I would say, held impeccably well. Some of them have been chaos. But even when the things are chaos, maybe that's what we needed. Maybe we need to learn how to handle chaos more. It's not a straight line, right? It's not linear, this spiritual awakening path. Mine hasn't been anyway. There are days where I'm like, can't believe the things I find out about this world we live in. And there are days where I'm just hearts wide open and I'm so loved up and I just love everyone and everything that I see. A homeless person, I love my daughter, an animal, a tree, nature, like all of it. Roller coaster. So one of the big parts about integration I think that's missing is community. This is why whatever we do, whatever courses and programs we do, I'm always plugging you into a community. Ideally, come to our events, either the in-person ones or the online ones. We have different groups. So I just made a new DNA activation group, and we did a DNA activation last night. So everybody who's in there, we can all support each other. And when you know you have a lot in common with them, again, let's think, how would we do it if we lived in a tribe? I think the tribes have a much better idea of what to do than these big cities that we live in, where people are just so isolated and so lonely. When I had my spiritual awakening in 2016, I couldn't talk openly about the things that happened to me. I didn't feel like I could, because the symptoms of my spiritual awakening are very similar to psychosis. And there's a saying that the mystic thrives in the same waters that the psychotic drowns in. The mystic thrives in the same waters that the psychotic drowns in. So when I had my spiritual awakening, I got this voice that started speaking to me very loudly, very clearly, and I could tell it was not me. It wasn't the normal voice. It wasn't who I usually speak to. You know, your internal chatter that you have. It was very different, very powerful. And it started guiding me and telling me what to do. So I did this meditation and it took me on a journey, and all of this amazing stuff happened. If you go and start telling people that you have voices talking to you in your head that tell you what to do, that can be difficult for some people, especially if they're not in this world. If you go and tell a shaman that you have a voice in your head telling you what to do, they'll ask you, what is it saying? They might get their notepad out and start taking notes. People have written entire books. There's a great book, series of books called Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. This is literally what happened. He was so angry with the world. He went and he got these yellow legal pads and he started writing, God, why me? Why are you doing this to me? And then this voice started speaking to him, and he would write down the answers. After he doing that for several years, he then got told by the voice, take it to a publisher, we'll make it into a book. And it became a best-selling book. It sold millions of copies because he has a voice speaking to him in his head, and he was brave enough to tell people about it. But isn't it really close to like the realms of what we call schizophrenia? The psychotic is what the shamans and the tribal people, you would be classed as a medicine person. You would be classed as a wise one. It's very different, isn't it? The integration isn't there. There's no support system for people. So this is a key part of the quantum regression and integration therapy, Q-RIT. Integration has to be there. I think we can change the whole world if we start talking more about integration, but most people don't even know what that word means. When you have a session with someone, especially if you are running client sessions, like really help them to integrate whatever the teaching is. Because if they just go off into the world, let's say they have one session with you, they get a breakthrough, they go back into the world, they're most likely going to go back to their old patterns. They're with their old friends, they're in the job that they don't like, they're going to watch TV, they're going to eat the crap food, right? Even if they had this big Satori experience. So this is why I like to work with people over a period of time. So I do like 4 sessions with someone, and over 4 sessions we can rewire their brain, rewire their nervous system, take them on a journey, hold and support them. I also have a 6-month mentorship program where I help people to launch their businesses. So if you want to launch a quantum regression business, or if you're a healer or a yoga teacher or a breathwork instructor, we show you how you can do that, how you can take people on the journey. But it's like 6 months, so we have a long time to work together. This is where a lot of people are not really supporting their clients in an optimal kind of way. But ideally, we should just live together, right? If we lived together, if we lived in a community, it would be great. So now let's talk about the next part, which has been key in my journey, which is appreciation. One of the things I learned from regression therapy is everything that happens is a gift. Every single thing that happens is a gift, even the ones that you don't enjoy, right? The unpleasant ones, especially those ones. The people who make you angry, they're your best teachers. The people who push your boundaries, they're the ones who make you stronger. You can learn all of those lessons from love. Absolutely, you can learn them from love. You don't need anyone to push you around. You don't need anyone to hurt you. But most humans, we don't know how to tune in. We don't make time. If you made time for some kind of meditation practice, if you were every day tuning in, connecting with your highest self, integrating different lessons, seeing what is in my world right now that doesn't quite feel right, if you were changing your habits and your thought patterns, if you were taking aligned actions, being brave and bold, if you were channeling this beautiful wisdom and energy that's available to you, you can learn a lot of the lessons from love. I have great breakthroughs in my meditations. I also like to have at least 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 one-on-one sessions a week on myself. Ideal. Maybe like 1 massage, maybe 1 regression, and maybe 1 of another modality. That can be a great way. So because I do a lot of sessions for clients, I'm going to a client pretty much straight after this. I'm going to do a one-on-one session with someone. I'm going to help them to basically transform their life. I also need to top up my tank. That's really, really important. So if you can learn to appreciate every single thing that happens in your life, like truly appreciate the people who you perceive to have hurt you, they're your greatest teachers. Appreciate all of the traumas, appreciate all of the things that make you realize what you do and don't want, you're going to have an absolutely incredible life.